We begin in Ukraine, where a peace deal is signed between President Viktor Yanukoych and opposition leaders. Under the agreement, fresh presidential polls will be held by the end of 2014. However, anti-government protesters remain defiant and are demanding the president's resignation. For more details, we're joined by CCTV's Jack Barton. He is live from Kiev.
That's right, and in that deal that was signed between President Yanukoych and key opposition members, it's not just ushering in the early elections, but a number of key concessions, including handing many of his powers back to Ukraine's parliament under the original 2004 constitution. And it is hoped that this deal will finally bring an end to the crisis that has really rocked Ukraine ever since the country's government abandoned an agreement back in November that would have pushed it a lot closer to the EU. Ukraine's President Viktor Yanukoych signs an agreement aimed at ending the country's political crisis. It includes handing much of the president's power back to the country's parliament, releasing arrested demonstrators from prison, and fresh elections by December. The European Union welcomed the breakthrough while acknowledging serious challenges ahead.
Implementation is going to be key and very challenging, and in everything that we now do, we need to support the Ukrainian people to implement this agreement.
Ukraine's parliament quickly voted for a law that could see the release of jailed former Prime Minister Yulia Tymoshenko, as well as the immediate restoration of the country's 2004 constitution.
This is a crucial decision on the renewal of the constitutional system and democracy. It is important to remove the dictatorship of President Yanukoych.
A new, inclusive government will be formed within 10 days. In the capital, Kiev, funerals got underway for the dozens of people killed during a week of the worst bloodshed the country has seen in decades. But even after Friday's agreement was reached, large numbers of demonstrators remained armed and at the ready. That's right, and the first indication we got of these talks coming through was actually on Thursday, when the ministers of Poland, Germany and France decided to stay in Kiev in discussions with the president rather than return to that emergency meeting in Brussels. A clear indication that talks were progressing well. But when we really got an indication was when we heard Poland's minister telling a key opposition leader caught on video, he didn't realize he was being recorded, essentially saying, getting that agreement with the president, sign this or martial law will be returned, there will be more deaths. Finally, that deal went through. There was the phone call then today between US President Barack Obama and Russia's President Vladimir Putin. Russia's delegate did not sign that document, but Putin said that agreement should be pushed through as quick as possible. So we've got a lot of agreement now, the leadership here, leadership around the world, also the EU backing it. The problem is the protesters down here in the square. There's not a celebratory mood there, not the mood of a breakthrough. It's very somber. The coffins have been passing through there today, many still calling for the immediate resignation of President Yanukoych, some saying that if that doesn't happen by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, there will be violence again. So we're really going to have to wait until tomorrow to see if this crisis is truly over.
Jack, let's talk a little bit more. You've kind of given us the background on the negotiations from the negotiator standpoint. What about the people behind you? When did they really get a sense that a breakthrough might be happening?
For the people behind me, there was really a sense of disbelief. Given the level of violence over the past few days, it seemed that the president wasn't going to back down. So it actually caught many of them by surprise that he'd given in to so many concessions, including putting the new government together with a prime minister that will be approved by the opposition. And today, the parliament also voted in favor of the early release of former Prime Minister Yulia Tymoshenko, his arch rival. Now, he still has to sign off on that along with the Speaker of the House. But many here now believe he is going to do that. Things are moving along at a pace. And while, as I mentioned before, you have an element down there that's still calling for his immediate resignation, still threatening violence, many other people are actually satisfied with this compromise. They are happy with everything, perhaps not the pace of the elections, but there is enough there that it does seem to be taking traction. But again, we're going to have to wait time, give it a day or two to see if this is really going to be the acceptable to the majority, not just here in Independence Square, of course, but right across the country.
Jack Barton, live for us in Kiev. Thanks so much.